What weapons does the U.S. fear from China? To answer this question thoroughly, it's essential to understand the key components of the U.S. military strategy and its reliance on certain technological advances, aircraft carriers, as one of the most important assets in the U.S. military, play a pivotal role in shaping global military power. The United States currently operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, a number that solidifies its position as a dominant naval force. These carriers aren't just tools for launching strikes. They are massive, mobile fortresses capable of projecting power across vast distances. Their ability to operate far from the U.S. mainland, from the Persian Gulf to the Western Pacific, ensures that America maintains a strong global presence. The primary function of aircraft carriers goes beyond simple military action. They serve as strategic platforms that house fighter jets, which are crucial in modern warfare. The ability to deploy aircraft from these carriers gives the U.S. a significant advantage, ensuring that its military can strike anywhere in the world, effectively making aircraft carriers a cornerstone of U.S. power projection. In the face of China's growing influence, the U.S. has responded by increasing its military footprint in the Asia-Pacific region. As of April 2025, more than 60% of U.S. military forces are stationed in or around the Asia-Pacific region. Some may argue that this is simply part of routine military positioning, but the heavy concentration of forces indicates a more targeted strategy aimed at curbing China's rise as a global power. The primary goal of this positioning is to prevent China from gaining too much economic or military influence, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region, which is seen as vital to U.S. interests. One of the most critical threats that could destabilize U.S. military dominance is the loss of its aircraft carriers. These massive vessels not only serve as launch pads for fighter jets, but also ensure that the U.S. can maintain a robust presence in contested regions. Without these carriers, the U.S. would see a significant decline in its ability to deploy military power globally. The loss of a single aircraft carrier would lower U.S. military capabilities by approximately 40% to 60%. The tactical advantage they provide is immeasurable, which is why they are such high-value assets for the U.S. So, what exactly poses the most significant threat to the U.S. aircraft carriers? The answer lies in China's advanced missile system. One of the primary reasons China has been able to challenge U.S. aircraft carriers is its development of anti-ship missiles, such as the DF-26 and DF-27, which can reach impressive distances and travel at speeds that make them difficult to intercept. These missiles present a serious challenge to the safety of U.S. carriers, as they can potentially strike from distances that were once considered safe. For example, the DF-26, with a range of up to 4,000 kilometers, could force U.S. carriers to stay out of critical zones where they could otherwise operate freely. This shifts the balance of power, as the U.S. is accustomed to projecting its military force with little concern for its own security. However, as China's missile capabilities improve, the U.S. faces increasing difficulties in ensuring the safety of its fleet. Furthermore, China's hypersonic missile technology, such as the DF-27, is another significant advancement that the U.S. military must contend with. These missiles can travel at speeds exceeding Mach 15, making them nearly impossible to intercept using traditional missile defense systems. The speed and maneuverability of these hypersonic missiles create a major vulnerability for U.S. carriers, as they significantly reduce the window of time in which the U.S. can react. The U.S. military is not taking these developments lightly. In fact, the U.S. has ramped up efforts to develop advanced missile defense systems capable of intercepting hypersonic threats. However, despite these efforts, it is clear that China's missile systems pose a serious and growing challenge to U.S. naval dominance. In addition to missiles, China has also invested in developing space-based capabilities that could threaten U.S. operations. China's development of anti-satellite missiles, for example, could disrupt the U.S. military's ability to track and target enemy assets, including aircraft carriers. The loss of satellite capabilities would severely limit the effectiveness of U.S. carriers, as they rely heavily on real-time intelligence and surveillance for operational planning. And now, let us unveil a Chinese black technology that is redefining land warfare: the Flying Dragon 60A cruise missile. When traditional rocket artillery grows wings and transforms into an aerial hunter, how will the enemy feel? This is not a science fiction movie. This is a real-world demonstration of China's Flying Dragon 60A cruise missile. It's both a rocket and a drone. It can pinpoint targets miles away and overwhelm them with a swarm. Even main battle tanks can't withstand its strike. It's known by the nickname, the death god of land warfare. Traditional rockets have a fixed flight trajectory, and if they miss the target, it's just considered a failure. But the Flying Dragon 60A is completely different. It's designed based on a modular rocket artillery platform requiring no modifications. Once loaded into the launch box, after firing, it immediately transforms into a cruise drone, scanning all targets within a 50-kilometer radius, automatically identifying weak armor points and targeting the top of tanks. It can dive and perform a suicide attack at a speed of 190 kilometers per hour. What's even more amazing is that it completely eliminates the dependency on external intelligence. Ordinary rocket artillery requires scouts to risk their lives to relay coordinates. In contrast, the Flying Dragon 60A automatically connects with the rocket artillery network after launch, independently completing the entire process of reconnaissance, identification, attack, and evaluation. It can even guide subsequent rockets for precise strikes, upgrading firepower coverage to smart hunting. Why does the Flying Dragon 60A have a square design? The answer lies in its missile-artillery hybrid design. Traditional round missile bodies waste space, while its rectangular body perfectly matches the rocket artillery launch box, increasing internal space to accommodate larger batteries and warheads. The foldable series of wings design allows it to be compactly stored in the box and instantly transform into a sharp aerial weapon once deployed. Its core secret weapon is the new multifunctional warhead, with dual modes of armor piercing and fragmentation. When facing tanks, its shaped charge warhead can penetrate over 350 millimeters of armor, specifically targeting the vulnerable top armor, a feature no current operational tank can defend against. When dealing with infantry, its pre-fragmented explosive coverage easily penetrates 6mm steel plates and can destroy even construction equipment. Compared to Russia's Knife cruise missile, which lacks power, or the U.S. Spring Knife, which has limited functionality, the Flying Dragon 60A's heterogeneous swarm attack is a true dimensional strike. It can integrate different types of cruise missiles into a network, automatically assigning targets, with anti-armor warheads specialized for tanks, fragmentation warheads for clearing infantry, and electronic warfare types that interfere with enemy communications. Thank you all for watching. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Stay tuned for our next deep dive into military technology.